Hello and welcome to this video for Publisher Exercise 35. And today we're going to be working with objects, and we've done that before. That's not anything new to you. But what we are going to be doing that is new is learning about embedded objects or linking objects to the file. So that is different. When we embed an object, it's basically a way of maintaining a connection between the object and Publisher, and then also with the different programs. So say if I were to make a picture in Paint, I would be able to double click on the picture here in Publisher, edit in Paint, and then come right back here to the publication. So it's basically the idea of you're keeping it open so that way you could edit the file even while it's still in Publisher. So you can do this with Word documents, Excel, almost anything in the Microsoft Office suite there. So that's what embedding is. And also sometimes referred to with link, basically the idea you keep a connection to the original source. So now with the abilities to easily edit and copy and paste and things like that, most of the time you aren't going to need to use this, but it's definitely a good thing for you to know, of course, with working with objects. And remember, anything you insert into Publisher or create in Publisher is considered an object. So a text box is an object, a picture, word art, any of those things all fall under that idea of being an object. So let's go over how to do it first, and then we'll get started with our exercise. Now, if you want to insert an object, you go to the Insert tab, and then of course over here in the text group you can see there's Object button right here. When you click on it, you're going to see a box that comes up that looks like this. So it says Insert Object. Now you could either create a new one, and so I have some different options here. I can create some with Microsoft Excel. I can make a graph chart, PowerPoint, Word, open document. So it'll give you an idea of certain programs that you could use. So here's Paintbrush Picture if I want to use Paint, WordPad, etc. Or I could create it from a file. So if I have a file that I've already made, I could include that in here. So I'm going to click on Browse. I'll go with Create File first, and I'll show you the other one. And let's go with Fall House. Now this is one that I made with the elementary students here. Now you'll notice sometimes when you insert it, and the reason we use this one on purpose is sometimes it only shows up as an icon. It doesn't display properly. So you may have that happen with yours. And what I can do here, I believe we can activate the context here. That's one way to do it. Otherwise you can double click on it as well. It'll tell you, do you want to open this file? You can check or uncheck if you want to ask always, and you can open it, and I can display it in this way in Photos, or I could also set up to display it in Paint. So this is the picture. It's just a bunch of shapes there, but that's one way you can do it. You can always do, like I said, besides Paint, you could do a PowerPoint. So we could, for instance, here I have this one. Oh, the marshmallow. This was just some store I was making up here with the kids. And if you choose it, it's a PowerPoint. It will take a little bit to load, but you can see here, here's my PowerPoint. And if I want to work on it, I can just double click, and it's going to actually open up the file here on my screen. So currently it's displaying over on my other screen that's not visible to you. But you can link things in there. So there's different reasons on why you would want to do that. And then the other way you can do it is if you click on object, you can create a new one. And so I could do Microsoft Excel and make a new Excel chart. I could choose Paintbrush Picture, so Paint, and click OK, and it's going to open up Paint for me, and I can work on something in Paint. And you'll notice I can exit out of it, and here's my picture inside of it. So it's kind of a cool thing that you could link this. The only thing I will say about this is if you're creating something to send to somebody else, it will be linked to objects only on your computer, and that's going to cause issues. So typically when you're making a publication you're going to send to other people, this isn't the best option to choose, just because all the things you have linked won't work anymore when you send it to somebody else. But we are going to learn it anyways here in case you do choose to use it. Alright, let's get started with the exercise. We need to open up Pub 35. So I'm actually going to exit out of this file here, and we'll bring up Pub 35. Here we go. I don't want to save it. So we were working with our all-star volunteers. So you can see we have our pictures here of our volunteers. And we're continuing with this file. Let's save it as 35 awards. Now let's go to our folder first, or your flash drive. So 35 awards underscore your initials. it says we're going to insert a new blank page after the first one. So if I click up here, or right click, excuse me, I can choose insert page, and I'm going to tell it to go after the current page, just like that. And now we're displaying the current blank page. And then it says insert the Excel file 35 data XLS as a linked object. So we are going to do that. So let's go to the insert tab. We're going to choose object, and then you go to where you're going to choose create from file and click on browse. So create from file, browse, and you need to go to where you have that file stored. So I'm going to go to where I have it set. You will have it in download since you probably downloaded it. Alright, so I have it selected. You can see it says Microsoft Excel, and I'm going to click OK. Now, it's always when you're working with objects, it may take a little bit more time for it to come in. So you can see here we have our text. It's showing up here, and it's kind of different when you insert it. You'll notice it has this border, and it shows like this. If I double click on it, it will allow me to open it in Excel. So it does say to do that. So let's open it up, double click. It should open it in Excel for you. Okay, you'll notice it's a little bit weird for the window. It displays differently because it's opening it up within Publisher. It says center align the first row. So here's our first row. Let's select it, and then we're going to choose center align up here. And then it says return to Publisher, closing Excel. So we can do that. Let's see. I have to. And to close it, I have to, okay, it looks like, there we go, my window is messing up a little bit. I had to click down here outside of the shape, and it let me come back here to Publisher. So let me bring that back up. So again, in case you didn't see it, I clicked outside of it, and it allowed me to go back. So do that. We had now, you can see that change we made, it changed it in here as well. Let me zoom in here a little bit more too for you to be able to actually see this. There we go. Alright, so it looks like with how Office has changed over the years that we just need to manually make these changes here inside of Publisher, because if you do it in the actual file, it doesn't seem to work. So let's bring this back up. We went and entered this row right here. We also need to center this column, the text. So like I said, there's been different changes here in the book, and of course with how this works with Publisher. So just center it manually here in this part. So we can click outside of this. We just have this information here in the middle of the page. It says we need to save and print. So file, print, and we're choosing Microsoft Print to PDF. And then of course we're naming it with the same name, except make sure you're in the right folder. And we are naming it 35 awards _ your initials, and save it. Alright, that's the first part of the exercise. Let's get going here with the second part. So what we're going to do, we'll click File, New, Blank Page, so make a new blank publication. Let's save it as 35 Art. So 35 Art. So let's go to the folder first that you need to save it in. And 35 Art. _ your initials. Alright, so what you're going to be doing is you're going to create a brand new embedded drawing in the center of the page using the Paint program that comes with Windows. So what you saw me do earlier at the beginning of this video. You're going to make the object 6 by 6 inches in Publisher. And you create a drawing using any of the tools in Paint, then return to Publisher, resize and reposition the new object in Publisher as desired, place a border around it, and add a shadow. So I'm going to do this very quickly. You're going to take more time to draw this object. I'm just going to make one quickly for you to see it. So you select the object. Of course, we're doing Create New, and we go down to Paintbrush Picture. Click OK. This is where you're going to show me your drawing skills or the lack thereof. So you do need to make some kind of drawing with a border. If I can draw this here. Afterwards, and you're going to need a shadow. I know, it's such beautiful mouse writing. I wouldn't say handwriting. Okay, so border and shadow, it needs to be 6 inches. 6 inches here. Oh, I accidentally double clicked. 6 inches here in Publisher. You could probably change the size of it over in Paint as well. Remember, there's a ruler up at the top for you to see. And you notice here, yeah, you're probably going to want to stretch this out first and then do it. Once you finish drawing and making your picture, you're going to want to add some more color to it than what I just did. Make sure you add the border and then also apply a shadow as well to it. Once you finish doing that, then you can go and save your work and exit out of Publisher. What you may need to do here, you can see when I select the object in here, I don't really have things coming up for it. But if I choose Format Picture, this is where you could add effects. Oh, here we go. Shape effects. That's what I'm looking for. I'm pushing all the wrong buttons. Yeah, so if you go with shape effects, this is where you're going to find shadow and things like that. So push that button, and that's what's going to help you in doing that. All right, and once you finish doing that, remember to save your work. And let me show you the files here quickly that you need to submit before I get ahead of myself here. So you're going to end up submitting here for me 3 files. 35 art is the one we just finished, and then you have 35 awards, Publisher, and PDF. So submit those files. I'm not worried about you submitting that Excel file. Just submit these ones. And that is how you complete Publisher exercise 35.